Just doing another live stream Sunday using the phone today. It's kind of strange. I think I actually get better traction with the phone, which is, it is what it is. Maybe it's YouTube pushing that live first. Ramsey says first. Yes, you are, sir. I'm going live on the phone. I was saying, just giving it a test because last time I got way more views going live on a phone versus the laptop, which was strange. So here we are. Yesterday I got all my official wireframing done, and I made the first page today, and that includes the header and the footer for desktop, not for mobile. So I'm going to do the rest of the desktop application. I'm going to do the rest of the desktop layout, and then move on to mobile. Hashtag big coder brand, always first, never last. Yeah. Hey, what's up, David? I was just watching a little bit of the live stream while I was designing out my new portfolio. And Matt Tran and what's his name? I can't remember. Dylan Israel were shouting you out, man. Hey, thanks for the like, by the way. So I do like the phone way better. It's kind of funny, even though I have the nice microphone and stuff, but the phone just seems to work better. I like the layout. I like the quick the quick setup on it. I just have a little tripod here, and then set this thing up, and then here to go. And it doesn't seem to affect the live stream too much. So I might be switching over to phone, unless you guys have some huge objections, or I want to share something with you on the computer, which is kind of unfortunate. I can't share my screen with you guys, and I don't like that too much. But you can't win them all, right? So yeah, just doing a quick live stream. We'll be here for, I think I'll be here for about 30 minutes. So if you have any questions, let me know. Show. It always takes about 15 minutes for people to get here. For those of you who just got here, Ramsey knows, David Yang knows. What y'all up to? Let me know. Let me know what's going on. How's everyone's Sunday? I will tell you, it has been snowing here like crazy, and the weather is miserable. Ramsey's building a site, heck yes, to add to my portfolio. Sweet, yeah, and it's a one-pager. It's pretty nice, by the way. I saw that there were some JavaScript things that kind of got screwed up when you sized the browser there, Ramsey, but I don't know if you changed that or corrected that yet, so let me know. I saw your banking application in there too, so. Just filing out some paperwork for the VA to get that training for software development. Heck yes. Get it done, man. That's one thing I wish I would have done back in the day, is do some military for that purpose. But oh well. Yeah, David was smart. He got his military stuff. Just getting the camera over there. It's kind of hard for me because I don't want to, put too many people in here and have them be in my live stream. Not that it's the worst thing in the world, but you want to be respectful. That's always a hard thing doing there. Always still an option. Well, man, I am like 30 years old, and for those of you who don't know, I am a full-time parent. So it makes it a little bit harder with that going on. So, but you're totally right. You're absolutely right. I'll go at age 35. Like David Yang says, it's age 35, and I already got my bachelor's degree. So, focus on that web development. I think that's going to be the best thing for me. David's considered multiple times going back into the military. For those of you who aren't U.S., when you get in the military, you get the GI Bill? Let me know, David. Or you can get a lot of like a stipend for schooling, or you get, so they'll pay for your schooling. Post 9/11 GI. All right. Yeah. So we're here to do questions, Q&A, but while we're waiting here, we can always talk about things like boot camps and stuff, even though in my space it's like all we talk about. So boot camps and after college, or how to get a good career. I kind of want to know what you guys do outside of coding that you do for either for fun or for learning. For me, I like a lot about Japanese culture, And so I watch my favorite YouTube channel is only in Japan. David says, pays for schooling and providing a living stipend. Plus, depending on the state you reside in, there's more benefits. So, heck yeah, man. That sounds like a great idea to me. I had a friend that got out of the military and was going to do like windmill technician or something. It was crazy, man. That was interesting. So yeah. We're here. What's everyone got going on for Sunday? What are your guys' Sunday routines? For me, it's clean, code. That's about it. Do some homework. Not my homework, my son's homework. And that's how I typically spend the time here on Sundays. What do you guys do on Sundays? I guess I could always ask what you guys are looking forward to or what you'd like me to cover on the channel. Right, I'm a front-end developer, so like when you're asking for Haskell or Python or something, that makes it a little bit harder to do. So yeah, Sunday equals laundry, prepping meals for the week. Yes, yeah. David lives my life, so yeah, that's what I spend a lot of my time doing on Sunday and Saturday. So it's a prep day. It's just unfortunate. So, you know, I've been doing a lot of live streams. I've been trying to get better at live streaming, actually, just talking, live, off the cuff. And I feel myself getting a little bit better, but the problem is it takes a long time to learn how to do it on the fly, and at the same time, like, what are you going to talk about? For instance, we talked about what I did last week. That gave me like 5-6 days to talk about something, and it's been 7 days, it's been 1 day since that live stream. So there's a huge difference doing these Sunday live streams, but trying to keep up with the YouTube algorithm, trying to make sure that you keep your views up, keep your watch time up, and your engagement up as well. I found that you guys really do a great job with keeping my channel afloat. It's not all on you. I mean, it's not all on me. Sometimes I have to know what's going on with my viewers, because ultimately it comes down to watch time and how much you guys watch, and what I can do to make that happen, pretty much. Like, make sure that the content that I'm giving you is content that you appreciate. With this React Portfolio series, it's kind of like in the middle. Like, some people really want to watch it, some people don't. It might be a little bit too advanced, is what I'm thinking. But I'm definitely going to finish it for myself. I need this portfolio anyway, and I'm kind of focusing on different things. So yeah. Let me know. Especially if you're watching this at a later time. Just pop on in and let me know. Let me know what content you're looking forward to. It's got to be within my realm. One thing I did do is I peeped Cold Steel's trailer for the developer bootcamp, and it looks really good, really legit. I didn't know his background. Cold Steel was the instructor at 2 different boot camps. So he's the real deal. He's not just some guy that's learned a lot. He's actually been through the process of training people up. So definitely check it out. It's like a 42-hour course. I really don't think I'm going to do it. Like, to be honest, there's no reason for me to do that right now. This year is all about making projects and picking up the additional skills along the way. So, it's kind of weird. Like, you're like, okay, well, I've done a ton of training, and now it's time to, like, kind of pick up skills along the way. I've learned pretty much all I want to know, like, as far as foundation goes, for what I'm learning, which is UX, web development, front end, web development, back end, and there is probably more I can take on tutorials on web development, back end for sure, but I can pick those up too, just like front end and UX. And what's the other one? Design. Well, that's kind of like UX. So, what about you guys? Have you gotten to that point ever where you've done like this? You have all the major background of whatever you're trying to learn, and you kind of get stuck because now you just got to do it. That's where I'm at, and I want to learn all these things, but it's like, well, heck, I already learned these. I just don't want to. I'm just fearing doing the hard work of actually putting together like projects and stuff. Not nearly as bad as before because I have a much better base to work with. But that's where I'm at. If I was going to learn anything, it'd be algorithms and data structures again until I have that down from scratch. So yeah, learning is definitely an ongoing process. But what I found out this year, as opposed to like the prior years, is there's a different phase of learning. There's beginner phase, and then there's intermediate phase, and I'm sure there's a master phase, but I haven't gotten there in a lot of different areas. But for me, I'm in that intermediate phase now, where it's less learning, more doing, and picking the skills up along the way, or going back and finding them yourself. Like, oh, I need to know how to do this specific thing. I need to know how this entire framework works, or I need to know how this entire language works. It's like, oh, what's the method to remove the first element of an array? You know, pop, shift, those types of things. And so I'm kind of at a crossroads. It's kind of weird because I feel like the channel is going to be morphing a lot. I want to do more tutorial things, but there's just so many good tutorials out there. So trying to find like the next thing that I can talk about that people haven't talked about is what I'm trying to find. If you have any things that you've thought about, like questions that you wanted to have answered and no one's answered, by all means let me know and I'll see if I can address it or look into it myself, because I'm always looking for new things to learn or to add to. A few things though I want to work on is presentation skills, which we're doing now with YouTube. I can do a whole lot of videos, but I think I'm at that next tier where I've gotten to the intermediate. I want to go to the mastery kind of stage and go from off the cuff and doing these things to refining that technique and then going back into doing things. So I've done, let's see, I think I've uploaded almost 50 videos, if not more, and not 50, 150 videos, if not more. And so, I want to get to that 200 mark by this year, and I want to get up to that 5,000 subscriber mark by this year. And I'm finding, what's the best way to do that? Is it tutorials? Maybe. This React portfolio is kind of like a tutorial. It's more like just my process and sharing it with you guys. I wouldn't consider it tutorial material. But, I'm wondering which way do I go? And Andre says, do you think Vue.js is a great first framework? I mean, yes. It's hard for me to say because I haven't gotten started with Vue.js. I don't plan to, not yet anyway. I only know React. The first framework I learned was jQuery, and then I went to React, which was confusing. The most important thing though is to, one, make sure it's related to what you want to do, and that's pretty much it. Just do it, the Nike slogan or whatever. So I would just get started, and then even if you're not like ready, go ahead and get started and find out where the holes are, and that's going to help you understand what's going on. And you shouldn't get discouraged. You have to have a tough skin. And then go back and work on those holes, which is what I did for like quite a few months. Andre says, jQuery is a library mate, but thanks for answering the question. Yeah, I mean, I got started with jQuery, but then I started using React, or Knockout if you want to be specific. Library, framework, what have you. But yeah, I see what you're saying, like a certain way to do things. But yeah, I use React if you want to be specific. And I haven't even used React at work to be honest. It's just kind of going for your future. This darn Aaron in beta doing an impromptu live stream here. We'll have to check them out later. jQuery is a library made, but thanks for answering my question. Oh, you already asked that, Andre. Sorry about that. But yeah, I still like jQuery for what it is. Like for like UI things, it's fine. But for like processing data and stuff, it's a nightmare. For making applications work, it's a nightmare. Setting up all that stuff yourself. got my coffee here. We got about 15 minutes here, finishing it up. Let's see. Sorry about the wait there. Had a little bit of a connection issue there. But yeah, I want to do more, kind of like more tutorial-based stuff, like this React thing, but I gotta refine it down. You know, getting new lighting or something like that is hard, or doing something with the shine, you know, like makeup or something. All these things, there's always incremental things. Like on my video production, that's a whole separate skill that I don't talk about too much. But it's definitely, I mean, you definitely see it when I do it. You know, it's trying to find the right mix. We can talk about web development all day, but at the end of the day, it's one skill, right? It's one part of the whole. And so trying to build up those skills that complement one another is very important. Like I like digital drawing and stuff, but I never really thought about doing that just because it's not profitable. It's cool, but I'm not gonna do something that isn't gonna like help me in the long run. It's not gonna really help my web development. Graphic design will though, and learning how to draw in general, at least at the beginning, is gonna improve your graphic design. Learning about shading and distance and all that stuff. And then those will lead into each other. So, you know, the video production is good for personal branding and sharing ideas. But it's really trying to find the right mix. What about you guys? What other skills are you looking to learn outside of web development? What's up, FaZe? When designing a project, David Yang says, when designing a project, do you design the project to be mobile friendly first and then transition to web browser, or the other way around? Well, David, I like that question. Hey, Sultan, thanks for coming back, man. Appreciate you. So David Yang asked, when designing a project, do I design for desktop first or mobile? I design for desktop. Yeah, more design. I'm all about that, Andrew. I started desktop just because that's the way I learned. But I kind of have the content move around freely. But that's not the entire story. Because now I've moved to wireframing. I don't just straight up design in Photoshop or something like that, right? I'm going to take my wireframe and do them both. So sure, I might start out with like a desktop version, but then I also make the mobile version in a wireframe. So if it doesn't work in the wireframe, I got to scratch it and do it again, or maybe alter some of the content in the desktop version, and then I'll move on to design. So I start off with a desktop version, but I have the mobile version in mind, and then I'll make the wireframe, make it mobile, and see like, do these like work together, and am I going to be able to layer these the right way? Flexbox has done a ton to really bring that to fruition, where I can move things all around the screen, you know, the view. But what's up, Sultan Tech? All around the view. Sorry, it's a little bit noisy here. It's a coffee shop. But they're really kind of done at the same time. And then when I actually design them, there's a little bit of redesign, right? But I kind of already have that in mind. Sorry about that long-winded question there, David. Hey, if you guys are digging the content, let me know. If you're liking what we're talking about, leave me a like. It does help. Or if you're new, consider subscribing. As always, got to put that in there in the intermission, right? Andre says, let me pull that up. Sorry, Andre. I have a possibility to move to Berlin, Germany, from Switzerland to start a job, but I'm not really sure. Would you consider yourself to move to another country to do the same? You know, I don't know if it's quite fair to ask if I would move to another country, because I live in the U.S., so it's not as far, but at the same time, I know that there's different laws, and you got to get a passport. If I was to, I would say the equivalent would be, would you be willing to move like across the country for another job, which can be just as far. Yes, I would move from the West Coast, or the West Coast, Midwest to the East Coast for sure, because I'm thinking long term about my career. Not just what's comfortable for me, but there's a variety of factors that go into that. So definitely another country, though. You know, that's another thing where countries are pretty far spaced out here. Canada, I would consider going to Canada myself, but like Mexico, maybe. Maybe if I could find the right place with the right Wi-Fi. But there are some family obligations and stuff that when you move out of the country make it a little bit harder. But of course, if you're closer, it's not as big of a concern. So, does that answer your question? Let me know. If you guys have any questions, as always, just let me know in the comment box, and I will get to them. Or if you just have comments, just let me know. We're just here to chill. It's a Sunday. It's chill, man. These are kind of more relaxed days than Saturdays, where kind of fill up the content with whatever. I was talking about different skills that I'm trying to learn to complement web development, because I just don't want to do web development, front end and back end and all that stuff. Yeah, I want to do it all, and I understand you can't do that, but knowing more about the entire process is going to help you. Doing a little bit of copywriting is something that you really need to know. Not extremely well, but yeah, definitely know the copyright, what you're putting in there and why you're putting that stuff in there. The user experience. Marketing is huge. There's some tiny things that you do that will increase sales more than any code optimization, and the only way to find that out is by researching the analytics and stuff. Like, well, what if we change this background to blue instead of red, and you just totally like bumped up like your traffic by like 5% or something. Things you got to think about outside of web development that are long term. So digital marketing is one that I know is all, it's a lot to learn, right? So I encourage you to find something that is related, but not necessarily like too strongly related, like code, but something that's going to help you, like graphic design or digital marketing or copywriting, and pairing that up with your web development, especially for your own personal projects, because you are, at the end of the day, you're your number one salesman, right? You're the person who's going to be selling your services or taking hold of your career. And so these are all very important things to think about. Pluralsight has a play-by-play, which is like a kind of like this, talking. It's like an informal course. And Pluralsight talks specifically about branding between these two Australian guys. So I would definitely recommend that you check that out yourself. Appreciate the likes and all that stuff, guys. Appreciate you hanging out with me today. So, just gotta kind of break up the day a bit. Can't code all day. I mean, you could, but even I need a break. Especially going into my second year. It's not so like, study, no sleep. I've kind of cooled down on that. So I've kind of cooled down off of that and still study a lot, but not like extreme programming. How do you guys feel about that? How do you guys keep yourself studying for so long, or in the game for so long? Because it is I'm going to be here for long term. That's the goal, right? And so, yes, there's a ton to learn, and yes, everything dies out, but there's a high turnover for frameworks and stuff. But how do you reconcile that with having a life? What do you guys do? Now, for me, I'll be honest, I still pretty much focus on this. I just go to bed a little bit earlier. I want to focus on my health as well. But, everyone's different. I know people that just seem like they don't do anything else but code. I feel like that sometimes, but I haven't been coding for the last 2 weeks after work, and I'm okay. But it's still centered around code. Again, talking about those things that go together. The copyright, the content creation, the design. Andre's keeping it up. My uncle said success is to endure pain over the long period of time. Yeah. Just how much pain can you endure, right? Don't burn yourself out. Where you're like, oh yeah, this brand new thing, and I'm gonna do it. And I've taken breaks before. Yeah, it's true. And it feels like a break right now, even though it's not really. It's just taking care to make sure that this application is built out appropriately, not just like, okay, let's yeehaw, let's cowboy code this up. But yeah, I feel definitely the same way. It's a lot of pain sometimes. So it's a lot of pain sometimes to get through something. So you just gotta become. You just gotta be. I don't know if comfortable is the right word. You have to accept being uncomfortable. Also, this video is not sponsored by Coke. I know it might seem differently, but it's not sponsored by anyone. I want a sponsor. Man, I want a sponsor, but I can't get one. It's been a while here. So yeah. What up, coding phase? What's good, kid? You know, just doing. Today's a chill day, man. Today's a chill day. We're just kind of talking, you know, live Q&A. I've been working on my portfolio. I got the homepage all designed out on desktop, not on mobile. So I got to take the wireframe and do that on mobile, but only after I made the entire like desktop application pages. I'm doing it in Photoshop, and man, I wish I had something like Sketch, but I'm a Windows guy, and so that's something I have to deal with because it works, right? Photoshop works for designing stuff out, but it wasn't designed to do that. Everyone knows everyone, small world. Yes, sir, Ramsey. Like, this YouTube world is small. But yeah, we're just, you know, relaxing, chilling at the coffee shop before we go back home and do some coding. That's what we're up to. By we, I mean me and my son. So he's here chilling, doing some dictionary reading. So yeah, he's just hanging out with me, being a good kid. You know, you got to double up sometimes. You got to get creative with your time. What about you, coding phase? What have you been up to? How's it back east? I did look at your website redesign a while back. Good stuff. So what we got going on today? What you got going on today, Teo? Yeah, Teo's telling you all about what's going on. He's reading this book. Like I said, you got to get creative when life comes around. So we're here, we're doing a live stream, and he's reading Harry Potter and the dictionary for some reason. But there we go. You can't see it; it's inverse, but or reverse. He wants to know more facts. He says. Do any of you guys have kids? And if so, how do you balance that? How do you balance work? For me, I do most of my coding afterwards. Oh hell yeah! You're the first. The live stream is sponsored by Coding Phase. Yes, this live stream is sponsored by Coding Phase. That is the first super chat I've ever had. So yeah, go check out Coding Phase's channel because it's great. He'll hook you up. He did a video way back about 20 top coding YouTubers to watch. Someone's on there that I know. Well, a lot of people are on there that I know. So definitely check him out. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I've definitely moved up. I think I got the Xbox Achievement Unlocked code super chat now. So hey, heck yeah. And coding with kids is difficult and sometimes impossible. You're telling me, Ramsey. I'll tell you what, man. Coding with kids is crazy. Sometimes, yeah. Coding phase. We definitely need to link up. Tell me what you're thinking, man. I was doing that series. My first year as a web developer. If you want to do something like that, heck yeah, or something else. Just let me know by leaving me a message or even leaving something in the chat if you're comfortable with that. But yeah, for sure. We need to talk about stuff, coding stuff. Let me know what's on your mind. Like I said, message, email. You got the deets. So yeah, what was I talking about? Oh, coding with kids. You lose your freaking mind, right? You know, it's a struggle. So usually I do stay up later, but just because that's the one I can have alone time, you know, quiet time, and do coding. So yeah, on the weekends, you know, get it done early in the morning, or get a couple of hours done here and there, and then stay up late again. But after a while, it will take a toll on your body, at least on my body. I'm pushing 30 now, and so I can't do all the things like I used to do, like all-nighters. and be competent in the morning. So, although I will say, last year I worked like I was a college student, working full time. It was definitely just as hard as when I was in my senior year of college, which is something I haven't talked about on the channel. But that first year was crazy for me because there was just so much to learn. I mean, I just barely knew. You always think you're prepared before you go to your first job in coding. Is what I've heard, from the experiences I have, and it's not the case. And so sometimes the skills gap is like this. And at my job, I didn't have anyone really to show me how to code, or I had to figure most of this stuff out on my own. And that was extremely painful. I would say 90% of my job or more, I had to figure out on my own. And it really pushed my limits. So. And I'm not saying that's for everyone. That was just my experience. I'm not saying it was bad. It just really tested me on what I needed to know how to get up. Let's see. Chat's still going strong. We got 4 here. It's been about 30 minutes. Let me know if you have any more questions. Ramsey says, yeah, I'm feeling kind of nervous about starting. Hey, we always do, man. Hey, did you get a new job, Ramsey, or just in general? Because it's sink or swim when you get in that position, man. It's sink or swim. But, depending on where you're at, you'll have some support, too, to get started. But that doesn't mean oh, yeah, I'll just put in my 9 to 5 and go home. Especially on that first year, you've got to be on your stuff. I remember my dad saying, even to me, oh, you'll just learn on the job. Whoa, start tomorrow. Pretty cool stuff. Congratulations, Ramsey. Good job. My dad was telling me Rick Sanchez, the ninja. Rick Sanchez. Wubba Lubba Dub Dub. Wubba Lubba Dub Dub. That's from season 1, so that might be old news. Anyway, what was I talking about? Ramsey. Oh yeah. My dad said, "Oh, I'm doing good. I know who Rick Sanchez is, the ninja. I'm all about that life." Anyway, sorry. What was I saying? Jeez. We were talking about that first job. My dad said, "Oh, you'll just learn on the job." No, Dad. I will learn on the job, and then some. It doesn't work like that. At least not in this industry, from my experience. At least not for me. From my experience in general. Even working at my previous jobs, I never thought I'll just put in my 9 to 5 and just leave it up to chance, leave it up to the corporate gods, so to speak. And I'll just put in a really good job and then I'll move up. That is a very ineffective way, or a very leaving it up to chance. Sure, I can work hard and then do that, but you have to go above that if you want to be at the top, because it is competitive now, more so than ever with college grads and stuff. So you gotta do something that separates you even more. Shan Dan says, I am a freelance web developer. How can I promote myself? What is scope for PHP and WordPress? What is scope? What is scope for PHP and WordPress? What is the scope of PHP and WordPress? I'm not sure. Let me know. The best thing to do with freelancing, in my opinion, that I found is blogging, YouTube stuff, and that's how I got my social media clients. And I learned a lot of this stuff from Gary Vee, Simple Programmer, or John Sonmez, Seth Godin. There was probably one more in there, but I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Roberto Blake. So these guys kind of, I learned a lot from them, and even Daryl Eves, which does YouTube stuff. But basically, you write those blogs, and they're going to be like your extra sales guy. People might look at them, but they're even more impressive when you're in person talking to someone. Whether you have a business card or just want to connect online. If you're talking to someone, and especially when you're trying to pitch them or something, you're talking about whatever they're doing, right, with their business. You're saying how's business going? Not necessarily a hard sell. Oh yeah, have you thought about your website? Or your website's pretty good. Have you thought about doing some improvements or something? And they say something. You can say casually, oh, I have a WordPress. What's up, Justin? Starting coding bootcamp in 2 weeks. Any advice for me? Yeah. Give me just a moment to answer this, Justin, and we'll get right back to that question. So, you know, if you have something on that specific topic that you're talking about with that person, you can send them to that link, and it's going to be useful to them, not just like selling them, but saying, I really know about this, here's something you can do, and then after a while, you go ahead and ask for the selling later. Say like, you know, I can definitely help you out with that if that's something you need. Here's some stuff that I've written about on this. Now, if they don't get you, hey, that's all right. You know, it's you can't get everyone, or they might go with someone else. That's fine. That's how I would do it. One, you get a following, which gives you credibility. Two, you have like some sales, right? You have a sales tool, and three, you can like make a new contact, or they can come back to your site or your blog post and learn more information. And businesses use this all the time, so that's how I would do it. Not just like, here's some flyers, or going from business to business. But this is definitely a long-term strategy, so don't expect to like write like 4 blog posts in a month and expect like massive results. Now you could, but that's not the norm. Granted, the more content you put out there, the more likely you are to get hit, or not hit, but to get found. But there's still some social media networking and stuff, and I did some stuff on how to market yourself as a web developer, which is a video a while back, but check out that video to get the specifics just on that. So let's see, Justin starts. Justin, let me know what bootcamp, or if you had to do anything. I would highly, highly recommend that you get on your algorithms and data structures. Those are what helped me the most, like had the biggest jump in understanding in JavaScript or development in general. And it didn't take me the longest time. So 2 weeks, you can do that. But look at everything else too. But JavaScript can take much longer than HTML and CSS. But learning how to do algorithms is going to be the biggest jump, and then documentation, which can come with time. So that's kind of like a weird thing to try to do when you don't have something to learn from. Algorithms. Let's see, Ramsey says, I'm still going to freelance, and I'm going to hit up a store I found after work tomorrow. I don't want to do it for free, but I need the resume edition. Absolutely, absolutely, Ramsey. I don't want to do it for free either. That's why I don't do it. But when I was in your position, it was more about getting the work, right? Like, if you think about it, you can shell out tons of money for college or boot camp all the time. Granted, boot camps are, you know, more effective. But if you have a project, consider like they're taking on the risk of you putting something out there. But if they're using it in like a business setting and in real life, like that is a lot stronger than this project that I made up, right? Hey, I made this pretend or imaginary website for this coffee shop that doesn't exist, where you can say, yeah, this is someone that I made a website for, and they use it in production right now. Boom. They're a lot stronger, even if it's free. Well, also depends, you know. I have one website underneath my belt that I'm proud of. I have probably built, I don't know, like 7 websites since I started, but I only was proud enough of one. Most of them were like WordPress or anything like that. But I'll soon have a few more. My portfolio, I'm redesigning and redeveloping my current company's website too. Let's see, Justin says, thanks, I'll be going to Dev Mountain. Dev Mountain? Are you going in Provo, Portland? Let me know, man. Dev Mountain's dope. As far as from what I've heard, I want to go to Dev Mountain, whether to be to sell you or just even just film or talk to those guys. They're cool guys. I wish they knew who I was. Hey, Dev Mountain, send me out there this summer. Send me to free code camp. No, excuse me. Send me to Dev Mountain for free. Not a free code camp. Oh, Shandan says, I'm in PHP and WordPress. What is the future scope for freelancing? Huge. Nowadays, 2018, I see there are still a lot of PHP, yes, and WordPress jobs available. It's good to focus on this language and WordPress, yes. I'm going to say PHP, but I think I had this question yesterday. It's not so much like WordPress. WordPress is great. but you're going to want to go a little bit deeper than that first, and then add that on, or work within that space. So PHP and WordPress without HTML is going to be painful. PHP, WordPress, CSS is a little bit better. PHP, WordPress, and JavaScript. No, excuse me. PHP, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You have those 3 or 4. Then you go to WordPress. You're going to have a very good skill set for that. But first, you got to learn. You first got to learn the basics. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Once you get those down, then you're going to be a very effective WordPress developer. Pixemweb is one. He's a YouTuber. Pixem Web. That does all WordPress stuff. So check him out if you have more questions on that. Also, PHP, I want to use it, but I know Node.js right now. Really wanted to learn my JavaScript. Still do. And so I know Node well enough. So that's another thing though, is like, don't try to learn all the languages. I was in a Facebook group, and everyone was talking about their New Year's resolutions, and one that came up was like, I want to learn like these 3 more languages. Like, well, what problems can you solve with that? How many problems have you solved? What was that WordPress guy again? That WordPress guy's name is Pixemweb. It's Pixemweb. Pixemweb. So think about the problems that you're solving. If you haven't made a portfolio project where you've solved some problem, maybe you're thinking about it. Maybe you're doing something. Let me rephrase. Maybe you're jumping ahead a little bit. Maybe not. But really think about it. You're welcome there, Ramsey. If you can solve a problem, that's what matters. Try some Crystal Lang. Crystal Lang. I don't know what Crystal Lang is. Oh, that must be like a YouTuber. Try some crystal meth. That's what I thought you were going to say there. It's a little bit different. Good thing, yeah. Crystal Lang, not crystal meth. Although there are some developers that would think that WordPress is like taking some drugs. Don't do it. So I hope I don't get demonetized for that. Do not do drugs, kids and adults. Oh, you know what? That's something strange that I should probably say. I've seen. Nah, it's a programming language. Crystal Lang. I thought it was like some lady's name. Crystal Lang. Man, I'm all messed up. I'm a fraud. I don't know all the languages. Crystal Lang. Try that out, man. Coding Phase is legit. He knows. So my demographic has shifted a lot in like the past month. Exposed. Hashtag exposed. I'm gonna be on TMZ tomorrow. Just you wait. What was I saying? So like about 20% of my audience is now female, and it's like all over the place. It used to be like 24 or something, 18 to like 32. Now it's like 13 to like 32, which is crazy. Do you do any web scraping? I do not, Bassy. I have not found a reason to use that yet. I am very heavy on the design side of things, so that's where I first start out, is design. And what can I do? So even with this React portfolio, it's design first, and it's design heavy. The more React stuff is components, of course, but React router. Not so much like, oh, I gotta manage the state, other than like UI stuff, but not like managing too much data, which is kind of let down, but you're still learning the framework. So it's like 2 for 1. I had to get a portfolio done. A lot of people are looking at React, so I'll do a React portfolio, and I'll learn more about the very the foundation of React, like UI and React router, which some would say is not the foundation. It's like Ruby and Golang had a baby. All right. Bassy says, are you going to use Service Worker? No, not that I know of, but I haven't gotten that far. For the back end is Node.js, because that's what I know. There's not too much to do, like save emails maybe, and route stuff out with Node Mailer, and React Router. I know there's like React like transition or something for transitioning routes, and then a few libraries like React Helmet for SEO, but I haven't gotten down that far yet. I'm still designing, but these things are in my head, and I'm gonna figure it out. so piece by piece, don't try to do it all at once. In case y'all forgot, this live stream is sponsored by Coding Phase. Are you looking for web development courses? It's on codingphase.com. I think that's your website, right? Coding Phase. Let me know. Shout out to him. First super chat that I've ever gotten. So appreciate it. Man, I'm gonna make those $2 stretch. You know me. I'll make them stretch. Oh, and if you guys are coming in later and you're liking the content, let me know by leaving some of these and subscribing if you haven't. And if you have any questions, that's what we're here for, to answer some questions. Take a break midday, at least here. It's like noon. What time is it, son? It's around 2 or no, it's around 1. Excuse me. And just taking a break because you can't code all day.
The time is 1:32.
1:32. Yeah. Yeah. So let me know what you guys are up to. You know what? On camera, how professional is that? I think I got something stuck on my face. Sorry about that, guys. It's a little bit raw, huh? Yeah, breaks are good. Yeah, that Pomodoro technique people have been talking about. I've been looking into it, but I do more like I'll say I do Pomodoro when I feel like it. So I should definitely check that out. Yeah, you're at the gym. I should hit the gym. Bro, the only gym I hit is like the probably like what? Huh? Yeah, we don't hit the gym. I hit the YMCA up when I pick up my son. So I should get into that gym life.
I do. I do the gym.
Yeah.
I get a lot of
Slim Jim. No, I can't have that. Too many nitrates, bro.
I get sweaty.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow, I'm gonna get so sweaty.
So yeah. Could have is like whatever that means. How old is my son? Well, I'll let him answer that for you, huh? Teo, how old are you?
I am 10 years old.
You gotta say it a little bit louder.
I'm 10 years old.
You're 10 years old?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, he's been 10 for just a little while though. He reached 10 years old on the 17th of December. I would have looked pretty bad if I forgot that date. But yeah, he's 10. He's been here. Nice. Get him coding early. I've been trying to, but you know what? There's some fundamental things I've found out that are different for kids. Just getting him to type is important. But in his class for kids, they're actually looking at coding with Google and stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, for Fun Friday at our school, we have to do some kind of coding game.
Yeah. So
for an hour.
Yeah, so in school on Friday they have like a Fun Friday, and one of the fun things they do is they do coding games by Google for an hour. So it's still even here in this small town, it's still in fashion, or they're still looking at it. So pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I mean it's nice. What about any of you? Any of you got kids? How do you manage that? Are any of them coding? Your son is 8 months old? So is he coding? No. 8 months old, man. Yeah. That's I remember those days. Those no sleep days or had weird sleep schedule days. Ramsey says, that's KO. That's Co0. My goal is to make JS game with my 2 sons. Yeah. Someday, no sleep. Hashtag no sleep. Hashtag diapers. Hashtag spit up for days. My brother just had a baby too, and you do miss out on that because babies are great. Salsa Dude says, hey Ricky, I'm curious, were you born here?
Nope.
If so, where is your family from? I was born in the USA, but my family is from El Salvador. Well, as you can tell by my accent, I do not have any Spanish in the language. Like I don't have any Spanish other than in high school. I was born in the U.S. Yes, I was born not in Idaho Falls, but I was born in Utah. Yeah, and so was my son. Same hospital. So
Yeah.
so it's we keep it. You know, we like to. We like to stay in the same area, I should say, Utah and Idaho. So, yes. I wish I knew like 2 different languages. So, yeah, I am a pretty American.
Your dad?
So tell me about it.
My grandpa.
I get a lot of flack from my coworkers who are Mexican American because they'll be like they'll talk to me, or like we go to a Spanish restaurant or a Mexican restaurant here in Idaho. You'd be surprised, but there's a big Mexican like community, and like you can get authentic Mexican food. So when I go there, I'll talk and I'll try to talk in English, and they'll talk to me in Spanish, and that's always a hard thing because I don't want to be perceived as snobbish, but it's one of those random things that happens in a diverse country like America. Salsa dude was born from El Salvador. Yeah, I mean the most important thing is being able to communicate with others is what I found is the most important thing for me, and language has something to do with that. But yeah, so where are my parents from? My parents, my dad is from like Mexico, like southwest Mexico, like near Oaxaca, the Oaxaca area, and my mom is from like Utah, like northern Utah. So he came here, met my mom, they had me and some more kids. So that's how I got here. My dad went to work and my mom stayed home. That's why we don't know any Spanish. Ramsey says, Ricky, are you going to leave this up? Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I usually leave all my live streams up. I know some other people don't leave their live streams up, but I think I've left every single live stream up. So should I not leave it up? That's what I'm wondering, because sometimes live streams are kind of hard because you want to be, you're Dominican, nice. I know I've had some Dominican food, which is not at all saying like, oh, I know Dominican, but yeah, born and raised in NY. Yeah, I've got a few viewers from New York City, which is cool because I would never talk to people from New York otherwise. And I don't mean like a stuck-up way, but like, I mean it's Idaho. Like, how many people can you know from here? As far as I know, like, I don't know a lot of Dominicans. I know mostly Mexican Americans and like Caucasian people here in Idaho, because that's just all there is. A few African American people out here, but for the most part, Caucasian and Mexican American. Let's see here. I'm asking a question because I have a question. Yeah, if you have a question, yeah. But I'm gonna leave it up, Ramsey. Mexican. Ay, ¿qué onda? I don't know what that means, but I appreciate it. Yeah, you do need to go to Boise. Boise is great. I live on the other side of the state, but Boise is freaking sweet. My brother lives there. I've been there plenty of times, and it's an amazing city, to be honest. It's like all the things that you want from a city, and much less of the things that you don't. So it's not very dirty. It's quite small for a city, but there's plenty of things to do there, like all the big city things that you would want, and that's amazing. And then it's not as cold because it's closer to sea level, even though it's just like straight across, not straight across, but it's like that. Actually, I think it's more like north. Yeah, it is very outdoorsy. Like all of Idaho is outdoorsy because what else are you gonna do? Ramsey says, I'm in North Carolina, and when I look at the recruiters, owners, workers, I don't see many, if all, that look like me. My wife says I shouldn't put a pic on the site because of discrimination, but I don't know. Man, you know what, Ramsey, I feel you, man. I feel you on that. But in that same vein, like, what are you going to do? You know, like, what's your last name? I'll tell you a story about what my mom did. My actual first name is Richard. My first name is Richard, and my middle name is Gary, and my last name is Garcia. Okay, so what was the thought process behind that? Well, they thought that it will look better on a resume for the reasons that you're speaking about. And I have just found that not to be the case. My name, I don't think is helping. For one, I mean, my last name's Garcia. If it was Smith or something, maybe it would be better, but that's a bit extreme, right? The best thing that you can do is produce results. Because money doesn't lie, results don't lie, and money talks. It's a great equalizer. Is it always going to be, equal across the board? No, but what's the alternative, man? Like, what else are you going to do? And as far as like, I felt that way at different places where I've worked, but not here. No, the place I work now is great. The way they treat me is, I've never gotten that feeling that you're talking about. But I have been there, and that's not for me. But I wouldn't, like, why would you want to work for those people anyway, right? Granted, you got to get that first job, so I get that too. But if you're worried of putting your face on there, fine. Don't do it. It's up to you. I don't know how much it's going to hurt. And sometimes people are like, well, that hurts for recruiting. I get it. I get it. But you just got to make a choice to stick with it. And if it doesn't work, switch it up and try something else. Man, that was a loaded question there, but thanks for asking it. Salsa Dude says, I think having a Latino last name is good. More languages the more money and business can be made with clients. Hey, I know what you mean. When I've gone into I've gone into like different jobs, and they're always like, so do you speak Spanish? Like after you get the job or something, I'm like, no. So I don't think those were the huge, letdowns, but they can't actually ask you that question in an interview. But hey, I know 4 languages, bro. Like, I know 4 whole languages. I know that English, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I am, I know so many languages. I'm so smart. But, yeah, I see what you're saying. It definitely can't hurt. But I think if you're going to try to learn a language, I think they said, like, this is a while back, but the increase in your pay, like your salary, is like 2%. So if you already know it, great. If you're trying to learn it to increase that pay, maybe not. But if you're learning it just for fun and stuff, that's fine. All right. Well, it's been an hour or so. If you have any more questions, let me know. If you like this content, let me know, and subscribe if you haven't. But we're gonna be peacing out here pretty soon, so we can get this design done, and maybe walk around, try to get some physical exercise.
Did you forget about swimming?
Oh yeah. Ramsey says, I think being bilingual only helps if you are the owner. Well, I've seen people that want to have bilingual, if they have bilingual clients, that's fine. Not all Spanish speakers are there's Spanish companies. There's Spanish companies, Mexican companies, Spanish American companies, right? So don't rule it out. I wouldn't say like bank on it, but I wouldn't discount it either. I would play that skill up for sure if you know it, and you'd be like, hey man, like I can do both languages. Like for example, a company that I used to work with didn't have enough Spanish speakers in marketing, and they were a big company, and that would have been extremely helpful here in Idaho. So think about that. Let's see. All right, guys and gals, I think it is time to wrap this up. Thanks again for coming. Big props to Coding Phase for giving me my first super chat ever, and appreciate moving up, guys, moving up. Appreciate the questions, and I'll catch you guys next time, sometime next week, where I'll put up my design video on React. Later, Ramsey. Later, Salsa Dude. How come it's always like at the very end of the live stream I get one more person that comes in? Illuminati. All right, guys. Talk to you later.